topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Hello and welcome to Fearless, Fabulous You. I am your host, Melanie Young. And you're wondering why I look like this today. Well, it is Mardi Gras season here in New Orleans and around the world. And I decided I would host a really fun show to get you excited about Mardi Gras and why you should come to New Orleans and celebrate Mardi Gras with all of us, because nobody does it better than New Orleans. So a lot of people have asked me, because we started, so Mardi Gras changes every year. Mardi Gras is a Christian holiday, a cultural phenomenon that dates back thousands of years. There's a lot of pagan and fertility connections to it because it's a spring rite. The dates change based on the Lenten calendar, because basically Mardi Gras are the days, the 40 some odd days leading up to Ash Wednesday and Lent. So a little history here. It's celebrated around the world, first of all. Mardi Gras is not just a New Orleans holiday. It's just that New Orleans seems to own it and do it better than anywhere. But you can also find amazing Mardi Gras known as carnivales in Venice, Germany, and other places. I think Brazil does one of the biggest carnivales in the world, Brazil and Venice. I have not been to either, but they rival here in New Orleans, and I think Trinidad has a really great carnivale as well. So Mardi Gras or Carnivale is celebrated in many countries around the world, mainly those with a Roman Catholic population. New Orleans has a huge Roman Catholic population. If you come and walk around my neighborhood here in Lakeville, you'll see churches and Catholic schools and kids in their little Catholic uniforms everywhere. It's a very serious thing here, and we're very respectful of it. So, Mardi Gras, what is it and why does the dates change? Okay, this year, Mardi Gras, first of all, is the French word for Fat Tuesday. Mardi means Tuesday in French, Gras means fat, Fat Tuesday. It comes the day before Ash Wednesday. And traditionally, in the days leading up to Lent, merrymakers would binge on all the rich, fatty foods, meat, eggs, lard, cheese, and of course, alcohol in their homes in anticipation of the many weeks where they have to give up eating those wonderful things for Lent. And usually they only eat fish and fast and whatnot. The word carnival, interestingly enough, and I'm going to credit history.com, one of my great sources for a lot of this information, besides what I've learned living here in New Orleans. Carnival is another name for pre-Lenten festivities. And it's carne means meat in Latin. And carnelavaria means to take away and remove the meat. So what we're talking about is feasting up until the day before Ash Wednesday. Now, the dates change. Last year, Mardi Gras occurred in February, Fat Tuesday, and actually the season itself, and this is really important because one of the big questions people ask me isn't Mardi Gras just one day of the year, Fat Tuesday? And the answer is no. The Mardi Gras season starts on Three Kings Day, which is Epiphany, which is January 6th, the day after the 12th day of Christmas. So here in New Orleans, Mardi Gras officially starts on January 6th, and there's 3 really big parades. So happens that David and I march in one of them. It's called the Crew of Joan of Arc, Clou de Jeanne d'Arc. Who was Joan of Arc? She was a patron saint in France, who was a young lady who saw visions from heaven and was led an army to overcome the king at the time, but was inevitably and sadly burned at the stake for being a heretic by the next king. She became the patron saint. She was from Orleans in France. Well, I live in La Nouvelle Orleans, the sister city, and therefore Joan of Arc is the patron saint of La Nouvelle Orleans. And if you go to the French Quarter, you'll see a golden We call her Joni on the pony. She's Joan of Arc on the pony, very heroic in the French Quarter. Locals call her Joni on the pony. So the crew of Joan of Arc celebrates and commemorates the wonderful patron saint Joan of Arc and her history with this very elaborate parade. You march through the French Quarter, and it tells the history of Joan of Arc. Dave and I volunteered, and we're foot soldiers, which means we, basically guard the horse or whoever. But it basically celebrates the strength of women. And when you walk through the French Quarter at the evening of January 6th, everybody is decked out in Mardi Gras because you wear bling. It don't mean a thing if you don't have the bling, and whatever the theme crew. So they'll have images of Joan of Arc, and people hand out what they call throws. It's tradition to hand out custom throws or gifts to the crowds. So January 6th starts Mardi Gras, and then different clues, which are like societies, secret societies that are a symbol of Mardi Gras, like sororities, fraternities, but you have to be a member. They host parties and fundraisers and supper dances, and eventually hold parades throughout the Mardi Gras season. So here in New Orleans, there are parade trackers, like WWL Parade Tracker, and schedules where you can schedule and find out when the parades are. They're not just in New Orleans, they're also throughout Louisiana and the Gulf Coast, because get this, according to our friends in Mobile, Alabama, the first Mardi Gras was held there. Now, it's debatable depending on who you are and where you are from, but I will say Mobile, Alabama has a spectacular Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras can be celebrated anywhere, and we're going to talk about how you can celebrate it in your home as well. But let me just give you a little more excitement about Mardi Gras here in New Orleans, because it really is a lot of fun. So Louisiana, this is fun. Louisiana is the only state in the United States where Mardi Gras is a legal holiday, which means you will get no business done Mardi Gras week. In fact, you will not get any business done starting maybe the Wednesday before Mardi Gras. So it's like a week where people just wear bling. They're wearing it now. I saw a little girl in the grocery store with this like little outfit on. She was so cute. You just go out, you have lunch, you get together with friends, you drink, you eat, you just make merry. And yeah, some poor souls do have to work because they have to serve the people who are making merry, but everybody's having a good time. And around that are these just epic parades. There's this organization called Mardi Gras World that makes Blaine Kern's Mardi Gras World, to give Blaine Kern, the Kern family, a nod. They make these spectacular floats year round. And you can actually visit Mardi Gras World, Blaine Kern's Mardi Gras World. If you come to New Orleans, you can go see it. And I do recommend, it's a great visit and tour. So the dates change. This year, Fat Tuesday is actually February 17th. But Mardi Gras season started January 6th. So we're gearing into High Parade this coming weekend with the crew of Chewbacca's. It's one of my favorites. It's like a supernatural Star Wars-y thing. All the crews have themes. So Chewbacca's is all about, it's a marching crew, which means there's no floats and everybody gets dressed up in sci-fi and Star Wars outfits. My favorite crews are the ones for women. And they all have signature throws. So my favorites are Iris, which is going to be the morning of February 14th. Their theme is Iris, the purple iris. It's all women crew. They actually make for their throws a lot of things, but I love their handmade sunglasses. And they do irises. They actually throw out purple flowers. Another favorite women's crew is Muses. These crews are very hard to get in, by the way. I looked into it, and there's like years long wait lists, and you have to be sponsored by 25 million people. So I'll never be in a crew. These are crews where they have big floats, and they're secret societies. My friends who are Muses, they're busy decorating shoes, because the symbol throw, actually hand out, because you can't throw a shoe, is a beautifully decorated shoe. I wish I had images, but I'd like to get a Muse shoe. Another fun tradition is the Zulu parade, which happens. It's an all African American crew, and it is the morning of Fat Tuesday, so Mardi Gras Day. They hand out these incredibly decorated coconuts. I'll show you one of mine. I ended up getting 5 coconuts last year, and they're centerpieces for my dining room table, but they're gorgeous. So these beautiful throws are coveted. You can also just get basic beads. You see beads in the background. I have bags and bags and bags and bags of beads. Why are they all purple, green, and gold? Well, I will tell you. one of the oldest crews is actually the oldest crew is Rex. Rex is king of Mardi Gras. Rex is one of the final crews of Fat Tuesday to parade. It's an elaborate floats and just gorgeous. And I think it's one of the last parades of Fat Tuesday. It's been participating in the parades since 1872. Mardi Gras dates earlier. I'll explain in a minute. But the crew of Rex, and a lot of these are secret societies. You do not know who members are. The colors are purple, gold, and green. Purple, gold, and green. Purple, gold, and green. There's my purple, gold, and green hat. I got a purple, gold, and green headband. You bling out. Trust me, that's part of the thing. Bling out. So purple stands for justice, green for faith, and gold for power. And if you go down neighborhoods, right after Christmas, all the green and red come off the decorations in houses, right? The green, white, and red. And up comes green, gold, and purple decor. And I mean, some of the houses really deck it out with lights and big flowers. And during COVID, when they had to cancel Mardi Gras, they did Yardi Gras, and they had houses, the mansions on St. Charles were just decorated, and still are, with beautiful displays. It's really, really, really incredible. So the first Mardi Gras, so how did Mardi Gras come to the United States? Because really, it has European roots, okay? And European roots that ended up getting in South America because of the explorers and the United States. So this happened on March 3rd, 1699. French explorers Pierre Le Moyne d'Iberville and Sieur de Bienville, and their streets named after all those, landed in what is now present-day New Orleans, and they had a small celebration and dubbed their landing spot Point du Mardi Gras. Now, remind you, the people in Mobile, folks in Mobile say theirs came earlier. But I live in New Orleans, so I'm just going to stick with New Orleans right now. So from that point on, celebrations took hold. And in 1857, a secret society of New Orleans businessmen created the Mystic Crew of Comus. Comus and Momus are the super secret mystic crews, and organized a torch-lit Mardi Gras procession with marching bands, rolling floats, and setting the tone for future public celebrations in the city. Since then, crews, and they're spelled Krews, have remained a fixture of the carnival scene throughout Louisiana. And as I said, they have themes, they are membership, they are secret societies, they have signature throws, and they throw parties, they do good deeds. They're hard to join. However, you can also join what they call marching crews that are very civic minded and a little more inclusive. One is the Crew of Dolly. They celebrate all things Dolly Parton. So Dolly Parton, God bless her, turned 80 on January 19th. So on January 18th, the Crew of Dolly held a street party to celebrate all things Dolly. David and I went. We dressed up because it's all about dressing up. And everybody was wearing, if you go to my Melanie Fabulous Instagram, you'll see us and you'll see the Dollies, the dancing Dollies. They call them the double Ds, the dancing Dollies, and they're dancing to live music. Live performers played Dolly Parton songs. It was a grand festival. It raised money for the Imagine Library because a lot of these crews raise money for civic causes and charitable events. That's one example. The Crew of Joan of Arc is another one. It is a marching crew honoring all things Joan of Arc in the history. There are others. So they're not, I have a cousin who's doing the Candy Dolls. They're a dancing crew, and they all join up in different parades. It's a lot of fun. It really is. So a few traditions that you need to know. I've already talked about the crews and the secret societies. I think there's more than 70 or so crews. Here's a tip. If you come to New Orleans and you go to beautiful Lake Pontchartrain, which nobody visits and they should, it's the largest inland lake in the United States. There is a fountain, and around it are plaques with histories of all the Mardi Gras crews. We were just up there. It was a beautiful day 2 days ago. The weather here is great. It's chilly but sunny. And Dave and I walked up to the lake because it takes about 20 minutes from where we live. And we looked at the fountain and these history of the crews. It's really special. As I mentioned, Rex, the King of Carnival, is the last. It's a crew and last float that goes down St. Charles Avenue. The crews go down St. Charles Avenue. It's this beautiful street lined with mansions. It's very historic, and people line up on both sides of the street and scream, "Throw me something, mister, throw me some crews." And it's actually crazy, crazy fun. Rex, they all have kings, by the way. All these parades have kings or queens. Usually it's a famous celebrity. There's a crew called Bacchus, honoring the wine, crew of wine. It's the Sunday before Fat Tuesday. I think Shaquille O'Neal was the king of Bacchus last year. They've had a lot of famous people. So the other is bead throwing. Beads, again, green, gold, and purple, but like Iris, we have turquoise beads because our friend T. Adelaide Martin, who's a co-owner of Commander's Palace, always throws turquoise beads, which are the colors of Commander's Palace. So Femme Fatale, another fun crew, all women. It's all Black African-American women. They do Femme Fatale. Their theme is red. I actually got a wonderful handbag from them and a mobile phone holder. I mean, some of these throws are just incredible. Really incredible. And, I have little bracelets with shoes from Muse. It's really a lot of fun. I already touched on Zulu, one of the oldest African-American crews. And they held their first parade in 1909. It's a very civic, secret society and a civic society. They have a queen and a king. And they started tossing coconuts. And in the beginning, they were just real coconuts. Now they take them, I don't know how they do it, but they take the milk out so it's not going to like whack you in the head. And then they decorate them beautifully, as I've showed you. I mean, I have so many, and they hand them. It pays to be a child. They love to hand them to little children. It pays to have a man who's a lot taller than you, like my 6'2" husband, who can reach out and get the coconut, because nobody can see me because I'm short and I'm older. So you got to wear a lot of bling. You got to raise your voice. You got to have a kid on one side and a tall man on the other, and then you get your coconuts. Trust me. I got 5 last year, so I'm good with coconuts. Here's an interesting tradition. I actually learned more about this last year when we were at Mardi Gras. So I talked about how Rex and Comus, the very early parades, would have flaming lights and walk in the night. So these are called flambeaux, Flambeaux. These are blazing torches that light the way for nighttime parades. I have to tell you, it's really quite amazing and almost scary. The men who are specialists in the flambeaux carriers, literally wear holsters around their hips, sturdy ones, and they stick the flambeau torch in, literally it looks like their crotch, but they come up from there and they go high, and I just don't know. There's performances. They twirl with them. They ride horses. I just don't know how they do it and don't light themselves on fire, but they do, and it is quite stunning. I think my favorite parades are the night parades for that reason. Some of my favorite night parades, Muses, Crew of King Arthur, Femme Fatale, they all start at 6. I mean, literally, you line up, and I'm going to give you tips on that. You line up again on the street. You get your gear ready, which I'll give you tips on that, and they roll the crew. Lots of police presence. I will give New Orleans Police Department lots of credit because they work hard. You'll sometimes see the police officers in headbands. I mean, they get into it too. They get into it, but they're always looking out for you. And you'll see National Guard. Thankfully, you need it. It's really crowded. You want the safety and security. So another favorite night crew, it's one of the biggest parades is called Endymion. It is the Sunday before Fat Tuesday. So Endymion is the day, and that night is Bacchus. Endymion is a very special parade, one of the longest and largest. It starts in the day. It goes to the night. People line up all over the place. It goes through Mid-City. It ends up in the Superdome. And the members are all in the service professional, first responders. They are your cops. They are your workers. They are the workers who make New Orleans run. Last year, I think the Queen was this famous LSU gymnast. She's like an influencer. She now lives in New York, and I think she's like dating some famous sports person. But there's always a celebrity. And Demi, I got to tell you, we were there during the day. We had to walk and walk and walk and walk and walk to get a place to see anything because it was packed. But when we saw it later at night, I was gobsmacked at how beautiful it was. And those flambeaux just blew me away. The torch carriers just blew me away. Okay, now we're going to get the thing that I really love. One of my favorite Mardi Gras traditions, and I'm deep into it right now, is called king cake. I've actually written articles about king cake. King cake is known in Europe and France as Galette de Roi, King of Cakes. It is based on the Three Kings and All Kings Day. And when we were in France in 2023, we were there for January 6th Epiphany, and everyone served us king cake, Galette de Roi. And France has its king cakes, Mardi Gras. New Orleans has its king cakes. They're very different. How? Okay. The French Galette de Roi is, particularly in Paris, is a beautiful millefeuille of layered dough, crispy and elegant with an almond filling. Maybe a little intricate gold detail, not much, and maybe a crown. Usually there's a crown on the top, and inside is a bean or a baby. Many think that baby is baby Jesus, but many say it's not. It is a symbol of fertility. Remember, Mardi Gras dates back to fertility. They're delicious. If you can go to France and have a galette de roi, or they're called something similar in Spain, you can get them in other areas. We were just in Portugal, and they were doing galette de roi. Also get it. As you move further south, i.e. Portugal or the south of France, they put dried fruits on top. They get more colorful. Yeah, so regionality impacts your king cake. The king cake itself is usually like a brioche or a coffee cake. Sometimes there's more. In New Orleans, because New Orleans just blings out everything, including king cake, you will find every style of king cake. Now, what makes a king cake in New Orleans unique? We're going to put the first photo up and then the second one my engineer is going to do. And I'll show you some king cakes that I recently did. I am a member of La Dame d'Escoffier. I think Juan's going to put them up shortly. I actually went to a king cake tasting. King cakes are such a big deal here. First of all, I'm here for the king cake. Look at these. So let me explain. King cakes are round, first of all. Why are they round? Because they are the shape of a crown, the king's crown. The name refers to the three kings who delivered gifts to the baby Jesus on 12th night. In New Orleans, the New Orleans tradition, usually there's one here in that's gold, is the colors of Mardi Gras, so red, green, and gold, icing and powdered sugar, maybe some white icing. And you'll look in this photo from my La Dame d'Escoffier king cake tasting, of which we tried 14. You'll also see one that's more all white, and you'll see one that's got some gold, because that's more of a traditional galette de roi, which is more gold. Some say the baby inside symbolizes Jesus, but others disagree. Actually, in history, it was a bean, like a fava bean, that was put in the king cake, or a coin. Why? Because a bean is abundance. It was called a feve, F-E-V-E, or a favor. A coin, obviously, is for good luck. And whoever gets the slice with the feve, the bean, the trinket, or the baby, buys the next cake for the next party. These days, because of legal reasons, most people put the baby on the outside because nobody wants to be sued for swallowing a baby. Many people in New Orleans collect the historic porcelain feves. Haydel's is one bakery that has a history of doing it. It's a family-owned bakery, multi-generational. This year, they said they couldn't put the porcelain in all their king cakes because of the cost of making them has gone up, so they're selling them. A lot of people said, "Well, buy the $5 edition for the king cake anyway," because they collect all the feves. It's a big deal. So feve could refer to the word fava bean. It could also refer to the name favor. But every king cake has a baby, a bean, or a feve. Now, another thing is you do not have king cake before January 6th. So opening day for king cake season, you can line up at places like King Cake Hub, which is like the giant supermarket for all king cakes. All the bakeries and restaurants in town ship king cakes, so you can buy them at King Cake Hub, literally. every day. And you can buy it on January 5th, but you cannot open it or eat it to January 6th. It's bad luck. Okay. And your last bite of king cake is Mardi Gras Day, because Lent, you're done. It's like some people don't wear white jeans after Labor Day. You don't eat king cake after Mardi Gras. It just disappears. And that is a cherished tradition. I'll tell you another fun tradition. It says king cake parties and tastings. One, let's put the other one up and we'll show just a close-up of one. Isn't that a beauty? So let's talk about the knife. The knife stays in the box. This is something we learned when we moved to New Orleans. Once you open your king cake box and you cut your king cake and everybody slices and slices and slices and slices and it's gone, the knife stays in the box. In fact, there are king cakes, like Flirty Girl sells knives. Flirty Girl is a great local retailer that has all things New Orleans and highly creative. Love, love, love this store, Flirty Girl. They have a special king cake knife that fits in the boxes. A lot of the knives don't. And it says on there, it's multicolored, like my jacket. The knife stays in the box. I think it's a good luck thing. But you don't ever take the knife out. It stays in the box, probably because you want to eat up the king cake and get another one. So again, Galets de Roi in France, the French brought the king cake tradition over to New Orleans in the 1870s. The Spanish, who also came and took over New Orleans, because New Orleans was not all French. There was also a Spanish acquisition. Theirs is known as the Rosca de Laissez. Okay. So if you travel and someone offers you a king cake in France or Spain or wherever, graciously accept. Don't say I'm on a diet. That's just king cake and diet don't exist. This is Mardi Gras. Diet doesn't exist. Edit maybe, but not diet. You enjoy and then you do Lent. Okay. Feast today, fast tomorrow. You enjoy your king cake. So ask any New Orleanian what their favorite king cake is, and you will get so many comments. I have a dear friend, Julie Benson. I love her to death. She likes the traditional one. So what is a traditional? It's usually a simple coffee cake, cinnamon cake, brioche cake, no tutti frutti, no frangipani, no cream cheese, and simple icing. She likes Party Palace is the one she liked. She also liked Caluda's. Caluda's has cream. So if you go to your local grocery store in New Orleans, you go to the airport, you will see king cakes. It's just crazy and it's fun to try them. You could bring them on a plane. You can carry them on a plane. Best to carry them on so they don't get smushed in your bag. You can also order them and have them shipped. Many, many places ship king cakes. I will tell you who now. And if you do bring your king cake and plane, buy a little mini one or one for the flight attendants. They will love you for that. And look the other way if you open the box. So king cakes, love them all. My favorite, Bywater Bakery, probably has some of the most inventive. They have a frangipani king cake. They have a chantilly cream cake. Theirs are very creative. They also have savory king cakes with boudin sausage. We love Bywater Bakery. I think they ship. You can find them all over town. Go visit the bakery. They're wonderful people, very community-minded. One of the popular ones also is Dong Phuong, a Vietnamese bakery, kind of out toward like you're going out of town. It's also a James Beard Foundation classic restaurant. The bakery is really terrific. The bakery is owned by Hoang Tran and her husband, who immigrated to New Orleans from Vietnam. They established their bakery over 30 years ago. They were named a James Beard Classic in 2018, and people go crazy for this one. It's not necessarily my personal favorite, but maybe I need to go there and retaste. You can also get it at some supermarkets, but the best is to pre-order at the Dong Phuong Bakery. Haydell's, I mentioned, very traditional king cake. A 70-year-old bakery. They make basically a cinnamon lace king cake with colored icing, and you can order the porcelain babies on the side for $5. Another traditional one, this is all they do, Manny Randazzo's king cake, second-generation baker, uses a family recipe. They come plain with just cinnamon, or you can have sweet cream cheese. And when I say sweet cream cheese, it could be just anything. I've seen it all. Another one like that is Caluda's. They do strawberry cream cheese filling or praline, and also very popular. I like IU Bakehouse. These are two women who worked at Bread's Bakery in New York. They are such a talent. Their bakery is in the Melanie area, they always have one of the best king cakes. It was about $30 last year. If you can order it and have it shipped, it is amazing. IUAYU Bakehouse, love their king cake. Another one that I've really gotten into, you may have heard of the famous restaurant Brennan's. You can have breakfast at Brennan's in the French Quarter. It's very, very famous. They created, the late great Ella Brennan created the dish Bananas Foster. You got to go there and have it. It's really good. Well, they make a Bananas Foster cream cake. It is really good because they have a baking business. You can order it at Brennan's. You can pick it up we have it at our local supermarket. The best time to buy a king cake is in the morning. Again, they ship. So you can actually contact Brennan's or Ralph's on the Park and Brennan's, and you can go to the website and order the king cakes. I suggest doing it soon because you want to have it shipped and ready to enjoy. And you eat them throughout the season. It is not just a Fat Tuesday event. I will put up on my Substack, Melanie Fabulous, a list of king cake places that I love. But here's the good news. You can also get really good king cake elsewhere. One of the best is, and they ship, is Bayou Bakery. David Guas is a New Orleanian native. He's in the Washington, D.C. area, actually Arlington, Virginia, Bayou Bakery and Coffee House. He has a Louisiana-focused menu. When we wanted to host a special Mardi Gras party for my mother, the last year she was alive, my mother loved Mardi Gras. We ordered it from Bayou Bakery sent one that we decorated ourselves. It was literally, they sent it and they sent all the decorations so we could decorate it ourselves. That's a fun thing to go with kids. BayouBakeryVA.com. There's a couple of other, you can contact your local bakery and see if they do king cakes or galette d'oie. In New Orleans, my favorite traditional galette d'oie is La Boulangerie. It's Donald Link's bakery. Maggie is the head baker. She's a fellow La Dame d'Escoffier member. Fantastic galette d'oie. So you can get the traditional galette d'oie, Celtical bakery near me. Also very good. Literally everybody has them. If you go to any restaurant, they'll have a king cake specialty. So I will again provide on my Substack, Melanie Fabulous. Please subscribe. You can do it for free or join and pay and support me. I'll have a list of my favorite king cakes that you can order. Now, if you want to come to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, and everybody should do that at least once in their life, you can do a couple of things. You can come for Deep Gras, which is Deep Gras starts the Wednesday before Mardi Gras, the Thursday before Mardi Gras. Thursday is Muses. The Muses parade is on a Thursday. Everything gears up. So you've got these massive evening parades on Thursday. Friday in the Quarter is just surreal. Okay, in the French Quarter on Friday, this happens. The greasing of the poles. Now, I'd never seen the greasing of the poles before, but Dave and I went down there and we were just underdressed. We should have been blinged up. We actually went into one of the shops and bought stuff because we felt underdressed because everybody was so blinged out. And the Royal Sonesta Hotel has these huge columns outside. And because the revelers and merrymakers would get drunk and climb the poles, they ended up turning it into a historic event where they invite local celebrities to climb the poles on ladders and get Vaseline and grease the poles so that nobody will climb up them and fall, drunk and fall and have a, liability. So last year, Lauren LeBlanc Haydel, Lauren LeBlanc married the Haydel bakery guy, so they're married. She was she owns Flirty Girl. You must go see Flirty Girl. It's at the airport. She's got 6 locations. You're going to love this store. FlirtyGirl.com, FLEURTY girl.com. Check it out. She won. She greased and greased it. We watched. It was a huge crowd. We watched. She greased and greased it. A lot of fanfare. And she just earned the honor of being the best greaser. After that, all the Mardi Gras crews descend. It seems like everybody descends into the French Quarter. And everybody's wearing, like the crew of Iris, you'll see them with beautiful purple fascinators in purple. The crew of Bosom Buddies, another crew you can join if you have the rack. They're out with their bosoms hanging out and feathers and bling. You got to have feathers. You got to have beads. You got to have bling. You got to do it up. Sequins. The crew of Hermes, interesting crew. We marched in that crew last year as part of the Joan of Arc theme. All the men come out looking like James Bond. Black suits, white shirts, dark glasses, and their bag, which has their uniform that they put on for their evening parade. Everybody has uniforms, and they are beautiful. And this is important, masks. Most Mardi Gras crews wear masks because they are secret societies and you don't want to know who the members are. So you see all in masks. So that's the history of the mask, masked balls, masked parades. The mask is a way to level out the wealthy and the poor, and everybody is masked as equal footing, and you don't know who is who. And you can also be naughty in a mask. So they all come out, and it's just like a whirl of people. The restaurants are booked, festivities, boas, you name it. You got to book early. So if you want to come do all that, you better have your plane tickets now and hotel reservations now. There are some hotels. I got a press release like the 77 Hotel where Compare La Pan is, Nina Compton's Compare La Pan is, does have availability. You'll pay about $250 or more a night, but if you can get a hotel on or near the parade route, so that's mainly St. Charles Avenue and the Central Business District. The parades start way uptown. That's a great way if you get a hotel up way uptown. You won't be as crowded. Then they go down St. Charles and into the Central Business District. Some are in the French Quarter. You want to kind of be on the parade route. Why? Because you can't get a streetcar or a bus because all the roads are blocked off and the streetcars are not running. So public transportation is very limited during Mardi Gras, and parking is a bear. I got a parking ticket last year. You have to park really far away, wear very comfortable shoes, wear your bling, carry a big bag to haul all your Mardi Gras throws and gear that you collect. Have water, a backpack. You get weighed down, but you need water. You need Kleenex and Purell. You need a bag to collect all your throws or a little wagon. And what's more important than finding a place to park and position? So there's 3 P's to the parades: park, position, and pee. You need to know where you're going to go to the bathroom because you cannot pee outside, and there's minimal porta potties, and people charge. Restaurants and hotels charge for access in, or you can buy a viewing ticket at one of the hotels or restaurants. You'll pay $100 and up, but you can have a seat, you can have a bathroom, you can be inside if it starts to rain, and you can get drinks. So it may be worth it to you for those several hours you're going to watch 2 to 3, sometimes 4 parades, to park yourself in a bar or restaurant or hotel where you can have covered access, a great viewing position, and a place to pee. Trust me on that. Trust me on that. As for what those are, I think you just go online, find hotels, restaurants close to St. Charles, start doing your research now. There are some bed and breakfasts, but the city cracked down on bed and breakfasts some time ago. I'm not into the bed and breakfast scene. We join trusted house sitters, and sometimes if you join that, you can pet sit. Some people locals often leave town for Mardi Gras, and they love it if you come take care of their pets. But you can't leave the pet out. You got to be a pet sitter first and not a parade goer. So that's a tip for me. Ditto, make your reservations for meals now, particularly the Sunday, the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday Mardi Gras week. All the big restaurants are probably all booked, all the big famous ones, but go casual. Go casual and go find some great po' boys or gumbo. Just go and go off hours. That's my other tip. Go have lunch at 2 or 3. Or my favorite, go at 3 and from 3 to 6 have a happy hour. Okay? Like I go and get $1 oysters for happy hour at Sea Witch and Superior Seafood. Both are locations with great oysters on St. Charles. Both are right where the parades are. Both sell access tickets where you can buy tickets to be inside, have bathrooms, eat, drink, be merry, and you're right there on the parade route. So that's a great thing to do. I love both those places. I go for oyster happy hours all the time. Well, not enough. 3 to 6 is Sea Witch, and 4 to 6 is Superior Grill. But that's a great tip. Another is the Pontchartrain Hotel and the Cloy Hotel and the Columns Hotel. 3 grand hotels on the parade route. where you can probably purchase access or stay. If you're a guest, it's even better. Further on down toward St. Charles, there's a lot of like the Central Business District. I like the Virgin Hotel. I just love that place. It's convenient, great pool, roof pool. I would go there. I would go to up at the Liza Jane is another one. I would not stay in the French Quarter. Why? Because it is so crowded and so rowdy, and people do piss in the streets. I'm sorry, but people do whatever. They're naked. We saw people naked in the street. So I wouldn't stay in the French Quarter for Mardi Gras, period. I would stay uptown on the parade route or in the Garden District, the lower Garden District, maybe 4 blocks off even. The St. Vincent, terrific hotel on, I think it's on Britannia Street, walking distance to the parade. So you just want to know how much are you willing to walk? Okay, get your tickets now. Realize that you got to have comfortable shoes. Okay, bling. You can buy it really inexpensively online. You can go to the local stores. We like supporting local. There's a place called Mardi Gras Depot where you can, next to the King K Cub, where you can I bought these things, really inexpensive. It's like a Costco for Mardi Gras. Get your bling, comfy shoes, comfy socks, have a rain poncho, have layers. It could be cold. Mardi Gras is going to be February 17th. It's cold right now. It could be really bone-chilling cold and wet. So be prepared for that. Have an umbrella, a poncho. I would get a portable chair or stool so you have a place to sit. Okay, this sounds like a lot of shit to haul, and it is. But if you want to be comfortable, it's worth it. Because people put up viewing stands everywhere. You got to, my tip is go where the parade starts. That's what we do. We go where the parade starts, unless you have friends who have a bathroom. Like I have cousins on St. Charles, so I go there and hang out. But if you don't, go where the parade starts or where it ends. Better start because there's more throws at the beginning. Maybe at the end because they got to get rid of all their throws, but just maybe not in the middle. But that's my tip. Make your reservations now. If you haven't, be prepared to pay a lot more. It's worth it to pay for viewing access where you can have a roof, a drink, and a bathroom and a seat. Dress up, dress for the part. There is no such thing as overdressing for Mardi Gras, period, particularly Mardi Gras Day. And another tip, don't come that weekend. Another great weekend to come to New Orleans is, I think it's the weekend of February 8th. So whatever that weekend is, and this is 2026. So let's say 2 weeks before Mardi Gras, there will be parades. There will be really fun parades. This year, the fun parades start January 31st. There's a really big one on February 21st. No, I'm sorry, that's Mardi Gras. January 21st, sorry. And February 8th, Dave and I are going to march. We're volunteers. We're going to march in the Crew of Barcus. That's the dog parade. We love dogs, rescue. So we volunteered because a lot of these parades are expensive to put on. The cost of security, the cost of monitoring. One of the best things about the parades are the marching bands. Marching bands and twirlers and bands, and there's band moms. So they need people to help march and make sure the band, the kids who are in the parade, often there's little kids, teenage kids, they are performing, they are dancing, they are twirling their batons, they're performing their instruments. They need to have people protect them. So there are a lot of parade protection people who are regular citizens, monitors, and we respect them. So we're going to be doing that for the Crew of Barcus. We're going to be parade monitors to protect the dogs. It's a volunteer role. I think we get a t-shirt, but we're really excited about it. That's February 8th, I think, or 9th. So that weekend, it'll come like the weekend before Mardi Gras. It may be a little less money. Do not schedule your plane. Do not schedule your departure from New Orleans on Mardi Gras Day because nobody's working. It's going to be really hard to get out of the city. Okay, so you want to get into the city and out of the city before all the craziness starts. A cab ride from New Orleans Airport in is going to cost you about $38 to $40. Be ready for that. Even if it's a short distance, you will pay. It's Uber, Lyft, they all service it. There is no public transportation that I know from the airport. There are trains down. Amtrak comes to New Orleans. I have friends who've done it from Atlanta. There's the Mardi Gras train that goes to the Gulf Coast to Mobile. That's a new one. It's called the Mardi Gras train, or just drive. But make sure if you're driving that you are parking your car in a covered garage, because there have been a string of break-ins. Some cars were torched in the Bywater. Sorry, our good friends at Bywater Bakery lost a van. We don't like that. We don't support crime. We want crime stoppers everywhere. Mardi Gras is all about protecting the people. Your car's not so. So you want to make sure that you are parking in a safe garage. Trust me on that. And you don't want to park near the parades. It's just a mess. The good news is, after every parade, it's just amazing how efficient the streets are clean. We have watched as the street cleaners come in, they clear the streets. Thank you, New Orleans Police Department. Those streets are cleaned up in a matter of 30 minutes. Impeccable, just impeccable. So the city does a great job cleaning up the mess. They do a good job of keeping everyone safe. They're very respectful that we all want to have a good time. And they even get into it, and you'll see cops wearing headbands, but they're always looking out for you. So I hope this gets you excited about Mardi Gras. Now, if you want to celebrate it at home, ask your local bakery if they have king cakes. Otherwise, I'm going to provide a list that you can order. Place your orders now from New Orleans Bakeries or Bayou Bakery in Arlington. Go buy your bling. Go get on Facebook Marketplace now. Everybody in New Orleans is selling their bling. Go on and get secondhand bling. Just do it. And throw a party at home. My mom used to do Mardi Gras parties as benefits for her local animal shelter, McCamey Animal Shelter, and she would host these huge Mardi Gras parties every year. Mardi Gras was a sacred holiday for her. May she rest in peace. We were able to give her a fabulous Mardi Gras her last year of life. And honestly, when we do Mardi Gras now, I think of my mom. I think about how much she loved it. I think about the community and the spirit and how important it is in a historical note, in a cultural note. You want to preserve that. It killed me that I lived in New Orleans at a time when they canceled Mardi Gras due to a police strike. When I was in college, it was devastating. The only other time I think they've canceled Mardi Gras was COVID. It is a sacred holiday here. You don't want to see it canceled, but obviously mitigating expense. A police strike was a big one, so it was COVID. But then throw the party at home. All right, so I'm going to leave with one last thing about Mardi Gras. It is Fat Tuesday. In 2026, it's February 17th. 1 year it's going to be on leap year. Go figure. February 29th. Here's what we love to say. Laissez, le bon temps, rouler. Happy Mardi Gras. We're saying it now. And we love to tell everybody out there in New Orleans, we celebrate the Mardi Gras on Fat Tuesday, but anywhere else, it's just Tuesday. Come to New Orleans. Thank you for joining me. Stay fearless and fabulous. Get out there and explore the world and celebrate. Life is short. Take the trip, take the sip, eat the king cake, and share it with friends. And always choose life on your terms. I'll say that again. Always choose life on your terms and choose fearless and fabulous. Check me out at Melanie Fabulous. Thank you.